Greetings, everybody, and welcome to the Build. We're here today to, enlighten you and bring you, some new understanding that you haven't yet heard about. This whole idea sort of came out of the brainchild of Brother Bilal here, and what we're going to do really quick is just kind of start everything off with introducing ourselves to you. And I guess we'll start with myself. My name is Essex Egan. By trade, I'm many things, but how I get by with my day-to-day is programming. That's my cup of tea. I also have a great desire to tap more into some of my elders' teachings. The late, great Dr. Kwaku Ando himself, who through his knowledge has definitely made me who I am today. So not to get too far off into me, but just to kind of share something about myself. And so my passion is definitely computers, botany, understanding more about these healing plants like the Nepenthe, Moringa, Oleifera. The list goes on and on. Who can walk you through the forest and tell you and show you that no, that is not just a weed, that is food, right? So that's something we can build on, right? It's all about the build. So I'll pass the mic off here to my left and let this young lady here introduce herself.
Peace. I am Nasitab Moratab in Atanay, and a little bit about myself. What I like to do is create by any means necessary. Mainly, I'm a fashion designer. I love to sew. I like writing poetry, singing, rapping. I really love helping children and cooking. I like cooking too. Yeah. So
we gotta build on that. That's something to build.
Yeah. Wow.
Okay. Good thanks. Yeah, my name is Bilal, and I go by Bilal Samadi. And I am a musician, an artist, in general, a musician, and I'm a student of all things spiritual and positive and helpful, I'm also a student of Dr. Kwaku Ando, and I have quite a few teachers,
So let me ask you right quick, Bob.
Yes, sir.
So this is your brainchild. Can you kind of expand on, what's your hope for the build, right? Because that's a pretty deep concept, when you think about, just the whole term, the build, right?
Mm-hmm.
You stacking up, you building up, right? What's your idea on that? Can you give us some insight?
Okay, thanks. Well, the vision for it is I want to incorporate the youth as well, and I want it to be a dialogue between the youth and, the young adults and the adults. I feel like there's a divide there that, we need to build. Yeah, we need to build. We need to be able to communicate and build a bridge across that divide, like you're saying. And so as that, we plan to bring in different guests in the community, even celebrities, really just build and open up a platform to be able to discuss key topics and upful topics and have satsang, which is fellowship with those of like minds.
Right.
So that's pretty much my vision for the build, and I give thanks for everyone who's showed up. Thanks.
Good thing.
Greetings, fam.
Greetings.
I am Seth Mary Atum, and by nature, by natural life, I'm a caregiver for everyone. of all ages. I am passionate about dancing. I love dancing. So that's what I do. I take care of the people, my family, my friends, my children, and I dance.
Nice.
Give it over to my brother.
Well, greetings, everyone. I'm into Rimta, and I'm into creativity, or as I like to say, creativity, because we like to create greatness and create great things during the day. My regular secret identity, I'm driving buses during the day, and then when I step into my Meteor Man or superhero Black Panther identity, that's when I'm doing the art. Quality in One is our group for music, songs, or as we say, Muhil, because we don't want to make you sick. So we found out our passion is actually traveling the building with family, building with friends, spending time with family and friends, being able to just live and enjoy life. That's our passions. Nice. And then so we realized that doing the songs and the creating, that's our job, that's our work, that's our bread and butter. That's how we bring it in. So that is us in a nutshell. We pretty much we love creating. So
great. Wow, we're gonna build on that. And anybody got anything to say about how they felt about that?
I just want to wrap up real quick, about the passions.
Yeah.
Just to hit on my passion. I have a passion about having sustainable communities.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Meaning communities where the money doesn't have to go out because we have the garden, we have the solar panels,
Mm-hmm.
we have the water filtration.
Mm-hmm.
We have everything that we need in-house,
Let's
off
build
the
on
grid.
that.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So I feel that to be a part of my passion, to bring community in
Mm-hmm.
to that type of thing.
Right.
Be able to live.
To mention.
Be able to live.
Yeah, we gotta build, and it's doable. It's doable. A lot of times, we may feel like it's a challenge that we can't necessarily handle, but we're gonna be right back, and we're gonna talk about build more and more, and we'll be right back. Thanks, guys.
Good, thanks.
Welcome back to the Bill. I'm your moderator, host, Essex Agent, and we're just going to continue where we left off, right? So before we left off, we were talking about our passions and, what kind of makes us tick, what are we all about? And a lot of interesting things came up, we talked about, creativity and what was that, bud?
Creativity.
Creativity. So let's kind of just build on some of those things that we brought up, in our passions in terms of current events, right? So you mentioned that, you're interested in, fashion, hip hop. What are some of the things that you're checking for right now in terms of, what's popping in, the fashion world, what's popping in hip hop?
What's popping in hip hop? I love both conscious and non-conscious music, so to speak. I see a lot on Facebook, it's a division, and I don't really like that. I don't care for that. I think it's all inclusive. And
give me an example of what you mean by, say, conscious, artists per se, non-conscious, and how.
Well, conscious conscious means aware.
Yeah.
That's all that means.
Right.
But today, when you think about conscious or the way that people use it, you think, okay, dashiki, natural hair, black power fist, stuff like that as far as conscious, but that just means aware. And listening to music, they could say Nicki Minaj is unconscious. They could say T.I. is not really conscious. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
They could say his name is right on the tip of my tongue, Kendrick Lamar. They could say he's conscious. They could say Erykah Badu is conscious. They could say, you know what I'm saying? So they have like different things, but when we create that division, it stops us from being able to identify with each other and relate to each other, because as Black people, we need to unify.
Right.
So you don't know how somebody grew up.
That's true.
You don't know their different situations, and sometimes you don't know where they're coming from or what they mean when they say certain things. And I like...
saying we shouldn't, you're saying that maybe we shouldn't take some of the stuff that they're saying so literal?
I think that, kind of so, sort of, you know what I'm saying? Because at the same time, I understand that children, when people have their children around, the children can be very impressionable.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And when a parent tells a child to do something, they're going to find every reason not to listen, you know what I'm saying, to be defiant sometimes.
Yeah.
So I can understand that, but I guess what I mean to say is that I find rap music and hip-hop or the artists that I named as non-conscious, some of their lyrics to be very motivational.
True.
And I think that sometimes, being able to just kind of read people and coming from a healer standpoint, sometimes we wear a mask, you know what I'm saying?
Right.
And a lot of people feel like, if you look at it just like a regular job, I know conscious people who work, you know what I'm saying, just regular jobs and do things differently when they're working that job versus what they truly feel inside.
Right.
So I
might being a vegetarian, but maybe you work at a butcher shop just to make
right. So I mean, how I kind of feel altogether is just that I wouldn't go, if I don't know the person, I'm not gonna go as far as to really just judge them as, you know what I'm saying? Because people, they like when you were talking about the Formation video, a lot of Beyonce caught a lot of slack from like the conscious community, so to speak. You know what I'm saying? I saw a lot of people on there, really dissing her for that, and I'm like, she's Black though, like, you know what I'm saying? Like,
is this one of your pieces?
Yeah, this is something I created. They're like shaka toes, but it looks.
Explain to me, what's a shaka toe?
A shaka toe is like a harem pants. They're pants that are you would find like we call them Butla Nubis, or like an Indian garb, like East Indian garb, where it's like tight around the ankles, but it's like baggy in this.
Right, sure. I wanted to hear from the sister about your caretaking, and how that's necessary,
Well, it's necessary because, for one, I'm a mother, so it starts off with being a mom. And with that entails so many different jobs. You have to educate, you have to feed, you have to nurture, you have to give. So with being a mother and being a woman, we give that off naturally. So that's what we need. We need someone that's going to always be there for us no matter what. That love that we have as moms will always want to instill and teach and help.
That's so true. So we're going to take a break. We're going to come back and build on that. Peace. Greetings, and welcome back to The Build. We're building as usual, and one of the things that we've been kind of discussing behind the scenes is really reaching out to you guys in terms of letting you know what we think about the whole idea of what it means to be conscious, and we talked about that a bit, and we talked about hip hop And so I think we kind of just get a round table of what the whole piece means, right? You hear a lot about consciousness. You hear unconsciousness. Oh, well, someone said this, so, maybe they're not on the right page, or, they said that. Maybe they are, and maybe they're really not. But what does that mean to you? So for me, consciousness, right, is allowing yourself to make action on real positive things, right? Because let's look at it. Like we can't always be, no system is 100%, right? Your vehicle, when you drive it, you don't get 100% of the gas that you put into that vehicle, right? So I say that to say the idea is to make sure that you're trying to be the best that you can be in terms of doing those right things, being right to your body, what you put in it, both from a food standpoint to a knowledge standpoint. And what will that do for you? They say that an ounce of prevention is better than a pound of cure, right? So far, you're going down a avenue so far that there's no turning back. And I think that, so that's kind of my perspective on the consciousness piece of, they say that ignorance is bliss, right? Because once you know something, then it's your duty to actually work off of that knowledge, right? So if you know that, right, that they told you that, the red meat with the nitrite in it is cancer causing. They told you that. But, if I say, hey, I'm going to, cut that out, and someone say, hey, man, you've been eating that, you can get hit by a bus tomorrow. Right? So those are the conflicts. Those are the battles. The conscious and unconscious, right? And so let's just kind of put that perspective out there. What does it take? To wear that consciousness shield. You know what I mean? Your family, your friends. I was listening to a show and they were talking about, people trying to become vegan and just the attacks that they were getting from friends. Like, man, why are you doing that? Like last week I saw you eating, a piece of big bacon double cheeseburger, but why is that? Let's build on it. What do you think that is?
Yeah, I think that's really funny, because what I think is when you start to better yourself, when you start to change yourself, what happens is you reflect that better part in other people. You see what I'm saying? So it's like now they see you evolving or changing, and they're like, well, it's a struggle for them, but it kind of raises the bar for me too. So then they kind of feel like, dang, now I have to do something which I really don't want to do. You know what I'm saying? Like, dang, so what's wrong with eating meat, or what's wrong with eating that? Or even when you do decide to transition your diet, just for an example, and you be like, oh, I remember that grilled cheese sandwich. And you go back, you've been like vegan or vegetarian for like 3 months, and then you nibble on some grilled cheese, and they be like, oh, look,
I've been waiting for that.
Right, I thought you don't eat meat, I thought you don't eat cheese, but that has cheese in it. And it's just like,
Isn't that something?
right, but I try to just really be like, I've learned over the years what it really means to be patient with people. I've really learned that, what it means to be patient with people, what it means to do things for myself, and not because, because even within being vegetarian, or even within being conscious, or, Afrocentric or anything, you can still be a victim to your peer pressures or the in crowd, and you could feel like you could have like different ideas about something, and then you'd be like, oh, well, they're not gonna think I'm conscious anymore, because you know what I'm saying, or
I went to
right. What
I
you
think when it comes to consciousness, there's levels of it.
Levels,
One
baby.
level, it's like one level of it is like y'all are talking about, as far as being conscious of what you eat, the knowledge and all of those type of things. And like when it comes to being conscious of what you eat, I think that has more to do with, like, let's say if you're a student, you're trying different ways to improve your diet, your well-being. So let's say you learn that a certain diet feels lighter for you. Then you're aware of it for yourself. You're conscious of it. You know, you have personal awareness of it.
Right.
So to defy it, you're only defying your own good. You know what I'm saying? So there's that level of consciousness, and then there's another level of consciousness, which is kind of more like the Buddhist actuality of, like, being conscious in the present. Being conscious that we're all here in this circle, in this moment. You know what I'm saying? Like,
And it's all good.
that we're here. You know what I'm saying? Even they talk about conscious eating, where you eat consciously, like thinking of every morsel and like appreciating, breathing, and instead of just gulping it down. That's what we do with the moments. We gulp them down. You know what I'm saying? We're not even conscious that we're living. You know? So there's levels of the consciousness.
Right.
When I think of the word conscious, I think of Khan and science. I think of that as the coming about, the knowing of what's happening internally. And like what it's saying, that entails meditating and chanting and praying and thinking and being and always being aware of what's going on internally and externally.
Right.
So for me, consciousness is focusing on what I want to happen and also knowing what's happening around me at all times. And that's my point of view on it.
Yeah, I love it because with just experiencing so many different, as you say, so many different schools, we look at this big pot of reality and life, and we say, I choose this one. This one. I choose this one instead of choosing to be one. It's like, oh no, I'm with this guy over here, or I'm with this person over here, and then that's where the Nicki Minaj's and all the different people get thrown to the wayside because you haven't chosen one, or you chose the wrong one, whatever. Instead of realizing, you listen to their song, you be like, wow, those are some powerful things that I would like my child to instill in their motivation of being disciplined as far as to go and be a go-getter, you know, because
I was gonna say, we live in the world with so many people, you know what I'm saying, and all different types of personalities and things. So to shun or to pick and choose who you're going to deal with, it kind of weakens you in a sense, because now you don't know how to deal with that personality. Now you don't know how to treat or heal that personality if it needs to be healed, you know what I'm saying? Or relate, you know what I'm saying? We have to learn how to relate to one another.
Just expand on that. You know, this whole idea, we got to learn to relate. You look at, I mean, you can kind of sum up the world's troubles in that statement of how we're not doing that.
That's why they call them relationships and not relating ships. We're in all these ships that shun relating. I'm not trying to relate to you. I don't want to relate. No, you're not my people. You're not this. I'm just shunning relating instead of relating to each other and relating to the reality that all of it stems from something. Like we're looking at the limb. Oh, this limb, I love the limb. Oh, I want to sit on this limb. I love this limb. But then you forget that there's leaves on there. And all of that came from one seed. What was it? The thousands of forests
came from one acorn.
Came from one acorn. You can create the creation of thousands of forests. Is in one acorn.
Right.
There's also the uncovering of one's story, you know what I'm saying? One's history, our story. You know, it's like, and being more aware and conscious of that. And as scientists and students, like, trying different modes, like meditation, salat, chanting, some of the Tibetan tones, and you know, some of these different things to come to a conclusion of what works. You know, so I just wanted to bring up like that Tibetan side of things, as far as the Tibetan tones, and you know,
And
be,
what do you
to be
mean by
conscious of
Kemetic
that.
tones?
I mean, with the Kemetic tones, a lot of times what it's just going back into, like we always say that the tones and vibrations, everything is frequency, everything is vibration, and the reason why we're missing out on those things is because we're not keeping that in sense or in sync. One tone that we all know is that or that and you find that in many things of creativity. You know, like they say omnipotent, omniscient, you know, and you start getting into that. That's the reality of totality, but we're missing it. And that, again, with the words conscious, con is a con, because that we're not.
I'm gonna tell you what I always tripped on too was advice.
Add advice to you.
Add some vice.
It is.
You know
Exactly.
what I mean?
Exactly.
Not just add virtue. Why don't you say add virtue?
Right.
I'm trying to bestow some point of,
Right.
virtue, some wisdom. I'm gonna add some virtue to you.
And that's how you look at it. Again, it's like we have to start being the ones to refine, not define, but refine our pure pose. Like you said, our pure position, because it's where you are. Of course, I may be a writer or whatever, but that might not be where you are, because that may not be your pure position. Just because I'm a vegan, vegetarian, and whatever, that doesn't mean that you have to be. It means that it works for me, it fits for me, and it means that you have to decide if that's because a person may go insane because they're not eating meat,
That makes me go back to the guy who, old man, like George Burns smoking cigars.
Oh my gosh.
I mean, back to back,
Right.
maybe 90.
Yeah,
Or
right.
90 something, right? Or even Strom Thurmond, just full of racism, full of it, bubbling over. Don't even take care of your own black child. You bubbling over racism, right? But you live to be so old.
Right.
That was his shtick.
Yeah.
Like, I live off of this thing.
Right.
It's like,
And then too, like you say, most of us don't know that even that might be his hell living that long.
Right.
And someone else may be their heaven or their peace because they've released it and they don't need it anymore. So it's so totality. It's so deep.
Yeah, listen, y'all. You see, we building.
Yeah.
We building up in here. You gotta come back and check us out. Like, for real, this is our pilot episode. But as you can see, we going into some deep subjects, and we appreciate you guys' feedback. Maybe there's some topics that you want us to expand on, something you heard here, something that you want to hear. So just check out the credits at the end of the show. We'll show all the information on how to contact us and send stuff.
Okay, thanks, family.
Thanks. All right.